defending world champion. He wears maroon with blue and gold trim. He scaled with the lightweight limit of 135 pounds, bang on. Maroon with blue and gold trim. He scaled with the lightweight limit of 135 pounds, bang on. His professional record, also a perfect one. 16 fights, 16 victories, 12 of them coming by way of knockout. Hard-hitting Honduran 2016 Olympian is widely recognized. 2020 Fighter of the Year makes his 7th appearance right here at Madison Square Garden, fighting out of Brooklyn, New York, USA. Is the reigning, defending, undefeated IBF, WBO, WBA, WBC franchise, and Ring Magazine lightweight champion of the world, Teofimo Lopez. Also a perfect one. 16 fights, 16 victories, 12 of them coming by way of knockout. Hard-hitting Honduran 2016 Olympian is widely recognized as one of the best active fighters on the planet. This 2020 Fighter of the Year makes his 7th appearance right here at Madison Square Garden, fighting out of Brooklyn, New York, USA. Is the ring.
Make some noise. He's boxing out of the blue corner.
Across the ring, his adversary fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the purple and the black.
Is here for the official weigh-in. 12 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division. Introducing first from Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. 16 fights, 13 wins by knockout, only 2 defeats. He's the former junior welterweight world champion, Rolando Romero. Introducing first from Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. 16 fights, 13 wins by knockout, only 2 defeats. He's the former junior welterweight world champion, Rolando Romero.
Across the ring, his adversary fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the purple and the black.
Is here for the official weigh-in. 12 rounds of boxing in the welterweight division. Introducing first from Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. 16 fights, 13 wins by knockout, only 2 defeats. He's the former junior welterweight world champion, Rolando Romero.
Rolando Romero and Teofimo Lopez are set to collide in a fight that has all the ingredients of a major boxing showdown. Both fighters are known for their confidence, explosive personalities, and willingness to speak their minds, but when the bell rings, all the talking disappears and everything comes down to skill, timing, power, and composure. Teofimo Lopez enters this matchup looking to prove that he still belongs among the elite names in boxing, while Rolando Romero sees an opportunity to shock the division and establish himself as one of the most dangerous fighters at the top level. For Teofimo, this is about much more than simply adding another win to his record. His career has already taken him through some of the biggest moments boxing can offer. He became a world champion, defeated Vasily Lomachenko in one of the biggest wins of his career, and established himself as one of the sport's most explosive young stars. But boxing careers rarely move in a straight line. Lopez has experienced setbacks, difficult performances, and moments where questions were raised about whether he could consistently perform at the highest level. Now, against Romero, he has another chance to answer those questions inside the ring. Rolando Romero brings a completely different kind of danger. He is unpredictable, physically strong, aggressive, and carries genuine knockout power. Romero has built his reputation around his confidence and his ability to turn a fight with one clean punch. Even when his technique becomes unconventional, his physical strength and willingness to take risks can make him extremely difficult to deal with. Against a fighter like Lopez, that unpredictability could become one of his biggest weapons. The interesting part of this matchup is the contrast in styles. Teofimo is capable of fighting at range, controlling distance, and exploding into combinations when he sees an opening. His athleticism allows him to move quickly and change the rhythm of a fight. He can box, counter, and attack aggressively when necessary. Romero, meanwhile, often wants to create uncomfortable exchanges where his physicality and power can become decisive. That means Lopez will have to be careful about getting dragged into the kind of chaotic fight Romero prefers. For Teofimo, the key could be discipline. If Lopez allows emotion to take over, Romero could make him pay. Rolly is the type of opponent who can capitalize on mistakes, especially if Lopez becomes too aggressive or starts looking for a spectacular knockout instead of building the fight intelligently. Teofimo has the tools to win rounds, but he needs to make those tools work consistently. His footwork, jab, movement, timing, and counterpunching could all become important as the fight develops. Romero's biggest advantage could be his physical presence. He has the kind of power that forces opponents to respect every exchange. Even if he is behind on the scorecards, one moment can completely change the fight. That creates pressure on Lopez from the opening bell. Teofimo cannot afford to switch off because Romero does not necessarily need a lone combination to hurt an opponent. A single perfectly timed shot could change everything, but Romero also has questions to answer. Against a fighter with Lopez's speed and technical ability, he cannot simply rely on power. If Teofimo controls the distance and refuses to stand directly in front of him, Romero may have difficulty creating the exchanges he wants. Lopez could use angles, quick combinations, and lateral movement to force Rolly to reset repeatedly. That could frustrate Romero and potentially slow him down as the rounds go on. Another major factor is experience. Both fighters have competed at a high level, but Teofimo has already experienced the pressure of major championship fights. He understands what it feels like to enter a huge event with expectations on his shoulders. Romero also has significant experience, but this matchup represents a different kind of challenge because of the technical speed and intelligence Lopez brings. The mental battle will also be fascinating. Both men are extremely confident, and neither is likely to back down from confrontation. Romero has never been shy about making bold statements, while Lopez has repeatedly shown that he believes he belongs among boxing's biggest stars. That confidence can be an advantage, but it can also become a problem if either fighter allows the emotional side of the rivalry to influence his strategy. For Lopez, this fight could represent the beginning of another important chapter. A dominant performance against Romero would immediately strengthen his position and give him momentum toward bigger opportunities. It could remind the boxing world why he was once considered one of the sport's most exciting young champions. But a difficult performance or another setback would raise even more questions about his future at the elite level. For Romero, the opportunity is equally significant. Defeating Teofimo Lopez would give him one of the biggest victories of his career and potentially change the way the entire division views him. Instead of being known primarily for his personality and knockout power, he would have a major win over a former world champion to build his reputation around. That could open the door to even bigger fights. The opening rounds may tell us a lot about the overall strategy. Expect Lopez to carefully measure the distance and look for opportunities to counter. Romero will likely try to make his physical presence felt early, forcing Teofimo to respect his power. If Lopez can consistently land first and get out of range before Romero responds, he could establish control. But if Romero manages to trap Lopez against the ropes or force him into extended exchanges, the fight could quickly become dangerous. One of the most important questions is whether Romero can maintain his pressure without becoming reckless. Against an elite counterpuncher, walking forward without proper defense can create opportunities for punishment. Lopez has the speed to make an aggressive opponent pay. He can use quick combinations and movement to exploit openings, especially if Romero becomes predictable. At the same time, Lopez cannot assume that speed alone will win the fight. Romero's power means that even a technically superior fighter has to remain fully focused. A mistake in the middle rounds could completely erase several minutes of good boxing. That is why patience could become one of Lopez's greatest weapons. As the fight moves deeper, conditioning may become another major storyline. If Romero is forced to chase Lopez for several rounds, the pace could eventually take its toll. Teofimo's ability to move and pick his moments could make Romero work harder than he wants. But if Romero is able to pressure Lopez consistently and force physical exchanges, the energy equation could change dramatically. The championship rounds, if the fight reaches them, could reveal who is truly prepared for the moment. Lopez has shown throughout his career that he can perform under pressure, but consistency will be critical. Romero, meanwhile, will have to prove that his power remains dangerous even after a long and demanding fight. One thing is certain, neither fighter can afford to assume that the fight is won before the final bell. This is also a fight where momentum could shift instantly. Lopez might dominate several minutes with movement and combinations, only for Romero to land one massive punch and completely change the atmosphere. Conversely, Romero could have success early with pressure, but Lopez's adjustments could gradually take control away from him. That unpredictability is what makes this matchup so intriguing. Ultimately, Teofimo Lopez appears to have the more versatile technical skill set, while Rolando Romero possesses the kind of raw power and unpredictability that can make predictions dangerous. Lopez's path to victory is likely built around distance, movement, timing, and intelligent counterpunching. Romero's path is much more straightforward: close the distance, force exchanges, and land the big shot that changes everything. But boxing is never simply about who has the better skills on paper. It is about who can execute when the pressure becomes real. On fight night, both fighters will have to deal with nerves, adrenaline, fatigue, and the consequences of every mistake. That is where preparation and mentality become just as important as physical ability. For Teofimo Lopez, victory would send a powerful message that he is ready for another run at the top. For Rolando Romero, victory would prove that his power and confidence can translate into one of the biggest wins of his career. Both men have something to gain, and both have something to lose. When the bell rings, the personalities will disappear and the real fight will begin. Teofimo will look to use his speed and intelligence to control the action, while Rolando will be hunting for the moment that can end everything. One fighter wants to rebuild his position at the top, the other wants to take it away from him. And that is what makes Rolando Romero versus Teofimo Lopez such a compelling matchup. It is not simply a fight between two talented boxers. It is a collision between two completely different approaches to winning, two huge personalities, and two fighters who believe they belong on the biggest stage. By the time the final bell rings, one of them could leave with a career-changing victory, while the other will be forced to go back to the drawing board. The question is no longer who talks the biggest game. The question is who can back it up when there is nowhere left to hide. On fight night, Rolando Romero and Teofimo Lopez will finally get their chance to answer that question inside the ring.